no matter if you achieve all of this, if you don't have the freedom to share your time or celebrate with your family and friends. I think the important reason for me when I think about scale company always starts and ends with people. When you look to be a leader, I think these leaders need to create like one of the principles that guides him. It's be humble. Humble to learn, to listen. Just because if you have a company, if you are investing in business, you need to every time to renew yourself. And for me, when you think about your continuous learning, I think it's the best chance that you keep in being better in business in your life because you are keeping learning.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I just have a favor to ask before we begin. If you've been enjoying these conversations and want more stories that redefine success, please do us a massive favor and hit the subscribe button over on our YouTube channel. It literally takes 2 seconds to do and is completely free. It's a small gesture, but it makes a massive difference for us as it really helps us to grow the show. And with that, let's get into the episode. All right, welcome back to the Quest for Success podcast, and thanks for tuning in once again. Today on the show, we're incredibly lucky to be joined by Guy Peixoto, who is a serial entrepreneur from Brazil, and he's currently the CSO at Bravo Scaling.
So once again, I had the opportunity to know G from OPM Harvard program, and I was actually sitting with him over the last 3 years, very close to him because we had the same surnames, like start with P. And we had a here and there chats, but I feel like I need to get to know him more and understand his journey. And he recently wrote a book about entrepreneurship, and we want to deep dive to that and understand all the things that he learned over the years. So Guy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and we had an amazing journey in Harvard. And unfortunately, in Harvard, you're talking with different people from different places, and most of the time you don't have. You can talk and understand more the history for everyone because everyone is special. But of course, Jen, I'm so excited to have the opportunity to meet you and to have the opportunity to talk and interact with you in Harvard. And also, I'm excited to be here with Dylan. And yeah, I'm just loving to talk about entrepreneurship. It's one of purpose that I'm living in my journey. And yeah, I'm glad to share a little bit my experience and of course learning from you also.
Awesome. So Guy, to kind of really start this podcast, it's all about success. So we need to ask a really fundamental question. And that is, what does success mean to you?
Oh man, the $1 billion question. Yeah, I love this. First, congrats for this initiative that you're doing to talk with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I can imagine that you already heard of about different ways about what success means. For me, I already I already did a lot of things in my journey as entrepreneur. Today, I'm running some different kind of business, transportation company, gas station, restaurants, bed and breakfast, and yes, a lot of things. I'm loving to do all of this. But one of the things that I learning, and no matter if you achieve all of this, if you don't have the freedom to share your time or celebrate with your family and friends. And for me, ev- for all the entrepreneurs, all the time we are trying to achieve the next steps, the next business, the next way to sell companies or invest in different companies. But now I'm 38 years old now, and for me, okay, I wanted to still invest in, but if the investment or the new company that I'm trying to be involved in not give me the chance to have more time that I can share with, to be involved with my family and friends, no, for me that's not. Uh, It's not make me happy, and for me, it's not related with success, you know. And then for me, freedom is one of and quality to live your life fully. This one of criteria for me till you have success in your life.
So it's like freedom to do whatever you want to do whenever you feel like. Is that good way to?
Yeah, but yeah, but sometimes it's freedom for you can choose the some things normal. For example, sometimes I wanna, for example, my Tuesday or my Wednesday, if I don't want to have non-meetings, if you don't want to make or have some lunch with clients, when you have the choice, I mean, when you just have the choice to you decide what you want to do, even not in the biggest things, but even the normal things or routine things, it for me it's one of the ways that I'd like to define freedom. It's
Yep.
not just about travel all around the world, but sometimes it's just about you decide to wake up and okay, I'll take my children to the school. I have a lunch with my friends, but man, it's freedom because
Yeah.
who have
Enjoy the little things.
Little things,
yeah,
but
enjoy
it's
the
got
little things.
huge meanings, though. Yeah. Little
Yeah, yeah.
things with big meanings.
So, G, for us to understand the man you've become today, we need to understand a little bit about your early life and your context. Can you walk us through, your childhood and how you think you were shaped, especially by your parents?
Yeah, amazing. You know, I'm originally from a city called Belém. Belém, it's Belém. It's the north of Brazil. It's part of the Amazon, the forest.
Oh,
You
wow.
know. Yeah, it's yeah. I grew up in a different part of Brazil because São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro. Normally, it's the place for who everyone knows, but Belém, it's amazing place. But I had a lot of challenges, like when I was kid. But you know, I had the I think I was lucky guy because I had the opportunity to grow involved with dad, my grandfather and my dad. They were entrepreneurs, and I always looks for the entrepreneurship in a ways or in the opportunity that you have to gain money, generate money for you help your family. For example, when I was 13 12 years old, my mom she couldn't gave us everything that we needed or some it's normal for children's
Yep.
or someone that could to needed to live. My mom, she couldn't give us everything you need, and thanks God, I had my grandfather and my dad and my uncle. They were entrepreneurs. Then he can give us, for example, they were responsible for paying the school and gave us the opportunity to travel and do something. And then for me, entrepreneurs, when I thought about my past, and I think this kind of people in my journey, I for me it was important to become entrepreneurs because I'd like to give the chance for the family and give the chance for my family to have opportunities that I couldn't have before, and I just couldn't have because entrepreneurs in my life, you know. Then when I was 16 years old, I decided to got out Belém. I decided to live in a different place in Brazil. It was a good opportunity because I had the chance to start working. I started to work when I was 17, 18 years old. But since in the beginning of my life, I wanted to become entrepreneur. You know, like all the time I was questioning, asking myself always like, when I you start? I decided to start to work with my dad. It was amazing. The beginning was amazing, but my dad, he told me that I wanted to command his company more than him. Of course, it's not true, but yeah. And once one of the clients that my dad started his company offering his services, and I had the opportunity to find one client, and I started a transportation company, offer service distribution and transfers. In the beginning, my dad he didn't support me, of course, because he wants me work with him. but it was the first moment that I had the chance to prove myself and to prove to my dad that I could to do something different and independent of him. Then yeah, I decided to get out my city early. I started to open my own company early, and all of these make difference in my journey as entrepreneur.
So your first business, you started very early days, like when you were like 22. Is that
22,
right?
22?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the idea behind it?
Oh, good question. I I love to talk with entrepreneurs because the question is, okay, how you had your first idea to become you became successful. But for me, I just decided to look uh, for my environment, because I used to say that if my dad he had a restaurant, probably my first company would be a restaurant. If my dad he had a hotel, probably my first company would be a hotel, because different of someone of people, someone a lot of guys, a lot of entrepreneurs, hey, when uh, 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 they decided to prove to your family they don't need the family, they don't need the
Yeah.
dad. In my case, I don't say I don't need my dad. No, I want to take the opportunities that my dad, he's entrepreneurs. Then of course, I you ask it for him for are you asking for your help?
Yeah.
And because my dad he started the transportation company, I say no, okay, let me learn how to manage a transportation company. And the first client of my dad had it was AB InBev, the
Yeah.
beverage
Yeah.
company. Then the first client of my dad was AB InBev. Oh my God, I had the opportunity to work with my dad, learn with him, and work inside of one of the most biggest beverage factor of beverage of the world. And then for me, it was a major opportunity. Then that's what make me start my own business. Take the
Yeah.
opportunities, and take look for your environment and enjoy the opportunity that your family can give you. But that was just my beginning. In current days, I have my business independent, uh, without involving with directly with my dad. But always for me, it's important to say that without my dad, without the decision that I made in the past, of course, I won't be here. Then I think it's about you look to your past and honor the principles of your family.
Yeah.
Then that's how I started my business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were there any core like values or traits that you think you
Ah,
learned from your parents?
there is a curiosity about my family. My dad, he played in the national. He was player. He played basketball.
All
Okay.
right.
And he played. He was and but he played also in the mainly national team of Brazil.
Wow.
Then it was yeah. Then I grew up with this idea about competition. It's not easy. It's about that you need training a lot. Then I think one of the things that I learned from my dad, it's about you can become wherever you want. You can
Mm-hmm.
become who you want, but you need training hard. Then for me, that's when I started to work with him when I was 16, 17 years old. And yeah, when you have this age, you don't know exactly what you
Yeah.
want or exactly who you be. Yeah. But when I look into my dad and I saw a guy that he was a basketball player and he turned. Imagine this. It's so rare in Brazil or around the world. You find someone that played, which was like played basketball and turned his life, and now he's successful also as entrepreneur. And for me, it was important to learn with him and say, okay, if he could do that, if he could do this, I want to do this, but I need to train.
Yeah.
In this, I need to train hard as my dad trained in the past and as entrepreneur. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, they have a very good basketball team in Brazil. So to be
Yeah,
able to play, that's pretty
yeah,
good. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And you know, and recently my dad, he was also the president of the Confederation of Basketball, also
Wow.
in
Wow.
Brazil. Yeah, then man, if you have a dad, you know, like with all of these achievements, yeah, you need to at least prove yourself that you
Yeah.
can at
But
least
yeah,
keep maintain his value or his
yeah.
principles, you know?
But do you ever felt like, pressured having your dad achieve so much great things? You have to prove to him that, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You know, for example, I have the same name of my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad, he wants also, he invests me a lot in me to become basketball player also.
All right.
Man, for me, it's a little bit hard. When I was 16, 17 years old, I said, no, but I don't want to be
Mm.
a basketball player. You know, for me, it was hard to say this to my dad. But in the other hand, I decided to become entrepreneur. But oh my God, my dad also, he has success as entrepreneur. Oh my God, that's no way. Always then for me in the beginning it was a little bit hard when I started to work with my dad because I was the son of the boss. I was
Yeah.
the son of the boss. You know, it's a different experience. It's not everyone that has the experience. But in the beginning, in the beginning I was to prove to me that no way, I'm not the son of the boss. No, that's not make sense. I have my identity. But when I was started to become more mature and have more knowledge, no, yes, I am the son of the boss, and I'm proud of this. And because I'm the son of the boss, I wanted to enjoy the most that I can, the opportunity that my dad just gave me. Because sometimes friend of mine already told me, Guy, you had the chance, you have the chance to do nothing. Why you are working? Why you are decided to create a company? No, no, just become the son of the boss and enjoy. It's I never could do this.
Yeah.
Then that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons that I decided to start my
Yeah.
company. So
Yeah.
And you've scaled over 11 companies and you started
yeah,
in this transport business. I want to understand how you went from the single business to so many.
yeah. You know, there is a funny story because first, I think in current days, it's easy to find a lot of entrepreneurs that want to scale, that want to create a lot of different business. For me, I took 10 years. You know, it wasn't like, oh my God.
Mm.
No, I think for me, it was hard. I start to offer my service to a client, but it was funny story because two, 2 years after I started my company, the same client of my dad, he was trying to find and hire other transportation company. And I asked to my dad, Dad, I don't know if you mind about this, but can I also to offer my service to your client also? And my dad say, okay, if you lose to someone, it's better to lose for my son. And I became a competitor of my dad. It
Wow.
was funny stories because, and I again I took the opportunity. So why are you focused on different things? Let me enjoy the opportunity to work as a partner with my
Yeah.
dad, and that's one of the most reason that I could to grow faster in my company. You know, because I could to close that biggest deal and I focus. You know, I decided to no matter I want to for example, I when I started my company, my dream it was to have a company 100 million, 100 million reais. It's to almost to I don't know 15 millions dollars per year, something like that. And yeah, and I decided to do this. I dreaming with the idea, and I achieved this not in 10 years, but 9 years. You know,
Nice.
when you do your first millions and you start to grow and achieve these results, you learn a lot. And different of my dad, I didn't want to work just for one company. I really wanted to invest in different companies. I really want to become entrepreneurs. And I asked it to my dad if he would like to let's do some synergy or something like that or a merge. And then I convinced my dad to buy my not the whole company, but the contract of my clients. And then I started with my dad helping, and I finished this first company negotiation with my dad, and tried to convince him to buy the contracts. Oh my God, this was amazing history. And but after this, I learned how to scale. I started to understand about it's about people, it's about strategy, it's about execution, and it's about cash. And after this, I started new companies, new business, gas station. And but I think the important reason for me when I think about scale company always starts and ends with people. You know, because for example, for me, it's impossible you scale of different business if you don't have people better than you. For example, all the time, what I'm trying to do is, okay, I wanted to open a transportation company. Okay, who knows about transportation company more than me? You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think ego, it's the main barrier, the most problem for entrepreneurs who want to
Yeah.
scale. Because before you scale the company, you need to scale yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But for you scale yourself, you need to understand that you can't be involved in 100% of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Then, for me, try to answer what Dylan asked. I think my journey as entrepreneur, it's okay, focus and first and one thing that you can really become better than your competitor. And after, now that you already have your methodology, now you already have your way to grow a company, try to be specialized and find people better than you. That's what I did in all my companies, the restaurants, the all it's about who can be better than you. And my my purpose and my main role in this journey is how I can inspire this guy who is better
Mm-hmm.
than
Mm-hmm.
me, and how I can help him to become a millionaire, or how can I help him to achieve his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it's all about to find the best and inspire him to continue giving his best. It makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you mentioned there it was about really finding the methodology of scaling a company.
Yeah,
And you've worked across so many different industries. I want to understand, does the same methodology work across all those industries?
yeah, man. Maybe there's a lot of people, different people, there's listeners, then they could have the different opinion. But yeah, man, I think it's almost the same, because there is a book that I love it, that the name is Scale Up. Who
Yep.
writes the book? It was Vanish Harnish. And
Yep.
also he developed me an entrepreneur organization. It's an organization that I'm part of. And if you read the book, you can find different companies, different sectors also. But the funny thing is, no one's suggest me the book. No one's give me like, say, Gui, you need to read this script. No, I just was as the entrepreneur, né? The
Mm.
roots entrepreneur. I was just trying to find. Oh my God, I need to find a methodology, and I found the book Scale Up, and I decided to read just by myself. I started to read Scale Up, people, and cash and execution, and I convinced my partner to read with me. Like, guys, I find a book. Let's read together. It's funny because there is a lot of CEOs, there are a lot of executives. Maybe they think that they don't need to read the book with their
Mm.
team. No
Yeah.
way. I love to do this. Then I started to create a routine and to make my partners and make my executives understand and read the Scale Up. And I use the methodology, the Scale Up, as a strategy, as the main tools to help me to scale my business. Then everything that's the new business that I start, that one thing, for example, Jim Collins, used to say that first you need to find the right people. Then no matter the business that I want to invest to try, the first question is who is involved and who is the need
Mhm.
to be inside of the boats or the bus.
Yeah. We are also a scaling up organization. So I actually read that book. We have a
Nice.
one-page strategic plan,
Amazing.
yeah. So what other, like, I know, apart from the book, you actually involved in the scale up business
Yeah.
as a mentor or a coach, right?
Yeah, man. 6 years ago, when I started to read the book, I decided, oh no, I need to find some coach to help me to implement. And okay, I opened the website, I tried to scale it up, and I saw one guy in whole Brazil, he's scaling up coach, and the other guys is Alfonso in Chile. In the whole America, Latin America, is two guys. I say, oh my God, it's not possible. Okay, I closed the site, the website, and I started to implement the scale up in my business. 7 years after, I did the same thing in the beginning of this year. Oh my God, it's the same. The two guys are no way, and I decided to apply to become coach of Scale Up. Yeah, and I apply. I did the training. I participated of all of these, the mentoring, the process. And now, if you go to the website of Scale Up, now it's three guys, and I am one of the
That's
of them.
amazing. Maybe
Yeah.
we need to get your advice, get you as our
Oh
coach.
man, it should be amazing.
And one of the like most important things that we hear from entrepreneurs is they learn the most from failure.
Oh yeah,
Has that been the case for you as well? Have there been some failures in those 11
yeah,
companies
man.
or more that have taught you
Yeah.
something?
Oh my God, that yeah. Before talk about failure with business, I already had a lot of failure with people also.
Mm.
Because, for example, one of the investment that I had in the past was it was a restaurant. I invested in a restaurant, and I did a promise to myself I never would invest in a restaurant again, and I did. Okay, but when I decided to be part of a business, when I think about this, I love to think about the who will be involved in, because I swear I don't know if you believe this or not, but 100% of the business that I was directly involved in, they were a success.
Mm.
Then when I was involved in the transportation company, when involved in gas station company, yeah, because as entrepreneur, you don't accept failure. You want to be involved and make the decisions. But I learned that because my failure, I did some investment in the restaurant in a franchise company that I wasn't involved directly, and I chose the wrong people to be involved in of the business. But that's what gave me every time. For example, I love to use, "Okay, but you lost money. That's some kind of that you how many you lost?" And I say, no, I didn't lose money. I
Hmm.
invested in the best course in my life.
Yep.
Then I have a lot of course. But I swear, because when you fail in your business, there is a feeling that there is a feeling that you start to understand that the only way that you contact or assess this feeling is if you live in the failure. But yeah, then, but for me, the worst failure is not about the business, but about the people that I really that I create confidence. But this person, or that's or the people that's entrepreneurs that I invest in, they prove they prove to me the positive. I couldn't have confidence with the people.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I swear, imagine if I found like if I found in my journey 10 people, 7 people fail with me because they make a lot of promise to me, and
Mm.
but the 2 or 3 people
Yep.
that I choose right, you know it's make everything, uh how to say this, like,
Make it work,
Worthwhile.
worth.
worthwhile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
worth. Don't matter if you find 10, if you find just 2 or 3. And now this, it's enough that you need to find
Absolutely.
understand where success. Então, then for me, it was how I look. I understand the failure.
Yeah, yeah. So, Guy, one of the biggest challenge as an entrepreneur, like we always find a lot of great ideas, right? So,
Yeah.
and you wanna go and invest in one idea, and then you see another idea, you see problems, and you see opportunities, right? And to solve those problems. And knowing you, like you're working on so many different things. How do you kind of manage, like not to get into too many things? I mean, already you have a lot of things
Yeah.
on your plate, right? And again, you mentioned your definition of success, having that time available for
Yeah.
important things. How do
Yeah.
you do that? How do you
Oh,
really?
great. Great. First, probably you heard of about Gino Wickman also, the traction EOS system, entrepreneur.
Yep.
You heard
Yep.
of about this? I
Yep.
love this methodology also because Gino, I learned with Gino in the books about two roles, the visionary and the integrator. It's amazing because you know, I I think in my business I'm the visionary. I love to think about okay, what is the next business, what's the next opportunities. But I swear, if I hadn't my integrators, the people that say no to me or stop to me, oh my
Yep.
God, everything will be. I don't know if I'll be here to talk about success,
Yep.
because. But one thing that I learned in my journey is I love to create ideas. I love to create ideas.
Mhm. Mhm.
And a lot of people that I read find out in my journey, they say, Guy, you can't do you can't be creative, you can be have a lot of ideas, you need to execute. And I think I found it for me, I found a strategy, a methodology that worked for me. I keep going this guy that's I keep being this guy that think about
Creative. Yeah.
ideas, creativity, but I have some rituals, like I have some meetings that's I don't make decision alone. I
Hmm.
hate to make some decision alone. I know that's time to be creative, and also there's time to make decisions. And when I make a decision, I take a decision about my business or my investment. I have people better than me help me to choose what ideas I need to implement first or second. Then it's helped me a lot because when I didn't understand this before, oh my God, it's a lot of things happen at the same time. But now with a committee, with people better than me, think about numbers, I found a good way to be invest. I found a good way to invest. And also, you asked about how I can imagine all of this. You know, first, I created the first business by myself. It was hard. The
Hmm.
second business, I said, no, now I want to develop me someone better than me. And for example, in my transportation company, I have a CEO. He's incredible. He can execute the plan. He's amazing. The gas station, when I open, the first moment that I open, I say, okay, I open, but in 3 years, in 4 years, who'll be here in my place, in my role, doing what I'm doing? Then every time, then I look to business now. As I said before, it's about okay, who is better than me? Then how I organize my time. For example, in my transportation company, I just needed to have 2 meetings per month. It's enough. It's amazing. In my gas station, okay, now I need to have meetings weekly, but I'm already prepared. I already prepared the CEO for me just have meetings 2 times per month maximum. And the others investment that I have, they already start with CEO and people and better than me. Then we and also you ask again, it's the same methodology. It's not exactly the same,
Yep. Yep.
but one thing it's important as a pillar, people motivate people better than you, people doing things better that you can. Then yeah, that's the way that I organize my time now.
That's fantastic. And also you had very successful exits from business, right? During
Yeah,
your last few years. And when you're starting a business, do you always think of exit, or what are you looking at?
good. In the beginning, no. When I started my first company, I said, "No, that's my company. I wanted to become bigger than my dad." Like, no. And sometimes I say, "No, no, no. I don't want to bigger than my dad. I want to just not bigger. I think just the half of my dad is, but the double of the profits." And I say, "Oh, I think it's better." Uh, but the first time that I had the experience to sold a company, it's amazing, because it's mean that someone look at your journey and look at what you create and see value, look at
Yep.
value for about your red creates. Then, of course, my first deal, it was my dad. And please, to negotiate with my dad, I preferred a private company, a private, because at least I had the chance to negotiate with my dad. No chance to negotiate, you know. But I, my other exits, it started to negotiate also part of my company, and also I never did 100% exit of my companies. Always I try to negotiate to keep it with some percentage of the company,
Yeah.
because my idea is it's always, "Oh, okay, I wanted to sell to someone that can buy my company and create a better results." Then that was the reason that, for example, I used to say that I'm involved with more than 10 business, because when I decided to sell, I sell one part, but I decided to have some percentage, and also my, for example, the others company that I have, you know, I love the philosophy to think that you are management company to sell. I love this as a philosophy because, for example, I used to say this to my team. If someone wants to buy us, it's because you are creating amazing
Yeah.
management, amazing company. Then, yeah, for example, the scale up. One of the things that I love scale up, when you think to future, you put the revenue, you put the profits, but also you put the value of your company.
Yeah.
Then, uh, for example, there's company that I don't think about to sell now, but the way that I'm running this business is to think as I would think about to sell, because I
Mm-hmm.
look at numbers, I look at the spread, the balance sheet, I'm trying to organize everything in the management, thinking in the place, puts my in the place in who wants to buy in the future,
Yeah, like creating value on everything
always
that you
about
do.
create
Yeah.
value, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I want to understand because you've not only started a company, but you've also scaled companies as well to, tens or hundreds of millions of AIs. I want to understand from your experience, what's the difference between 0 and 1 and then
Oh,
1 to 10?
0 to 1, it's hard, Oh my God. But, everyone needs to experience the 0 to 1, because the 0 to 1, oh my God. For example, imagine that I start a company. I was 22 years old, and the first operation that I had just 4 trucks, and I needed to hire the first employees. Everyone, they are oldest than me. I
Mm,
was just oh my God, almost a teenager. Try to create a company and try to prove to my dad that I could do something better than him, and I was with this. But the problem is not the problems, but the challenge, the 0 to 1, is because everything is new.
mm,
Everything is new. Then in the beginning, you need to learn everything at the same time, because as entrepreneur, when you are small, you need to be the HR, you need to be the technology guy, you need to do finance, you need to do everything. And I need to did all of this. But when you started to achieve some maturity as entrepreneur, you know, you already know the way that you can generate value,
mm,
and but I think the most challenging when you come from zero, it's to understand that your role as entrepreneur need change
mm,
with time, you know, because in the beginning I needed to execute the things. After, I need to understand how to lead people to
mm,
things that I couldn't to do anymore, you know. And I think this transition, it's the hard thing that all entrepreneurs need to do. And I think there is a lot of entrepreneurs that never did this.
Yep.
They have the biggest company, but they never understood that they needed to stop to be the protagonist. It's right to say protagonist.
yeah,
They need to stop to become the protagonist, and they need to create a company with protagonist. you
Yep.
know
Yeah. Yep.
then I think when you can to make like understand that you need to train your role, and then it is, you understand that the 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 it start to become easier
Mm.
because you already know how to do the things. You already know how to
Mm.
run the company. You already know how to lead, and it become too easier because you now what the company needs more than you. It's your knowledge, your strategy, or your vision, and not your operation efforts.
Mm.
But for sure, the 0 to 1, you have a lot of challenge.
And you mentioned there, one of the key differences is really about leadership. I want to understand from your perspective, what's the difference between a good leader and a great leader?
Oh, good, amazing, just good, amazing question. I love it. I love the the subject about leader. Because I think and because the AI, a lot of things it's happening. We need to find always. You need to find a new way to become better leader. But for me, I think the difference between a leader great or no, I think it's all involve be humble. You know, I wrote my book and the 101 essential principles of entrepreneurship. The last principle, the 101, it's a relation with be humble. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I think leaders they need to every time to be learning and listen. For example, there is a book, the five. I think Patrick Lencioni. It's the five challenge of teams, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact translate to
Title.
English, but the beginning of to create high performance teams, it's confidence.
Mm.
Then if you want to create a team higher performing, like with higher performance, you need to do the basic of a lot of leaders they can to do. It's listening,
Mm.
is to knows that it's normal you failure. It's normal failure in your process. Then when you look to be a leader, I think these leaders need to create like one of the principle that guides him. It's be humble. Humble
Mm.
to learn, to
Mm.
listen, to open, and to training. And I think that's the difference between the great and not the great leader.
Yeah. Guy, you briefly mentioned about your book, and we really want to talk a little bit more about your book. What's the motivation? What's the reason that you decided that you should write a book about entrepreneurship?
Good. A friend of mine, he asking to me, Guy, it started like that. Guy, why you don't write a book or something like that? To say, why, man? What I have always the entrepreneur, it's like this. Why? What I have? Like, oh, what I have that the people want to
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
because you use it to not value our own journey, right?
Yeah.
But but my friend he convinced me because I asked him, okay, why you need to give? Because I think you can combine two things that's not so it's a little bit hard because you have the experience as entrepreneur, but also you have like the theory, you have the
Mm.
knowledge, you study a lot about entrepreneurship. And it's right because about OPM. When I was 22 years old, I was start my journey as entrepreneur. I wrote a book. The book was wrote. The author of the book, they are the founders of Abimbev. They are successful guy. And I was reading the book. They did the OPM, and I say, what this guy have that I don't have? Like entrepreneur. It's about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said to me, like, in 10 years, I will be in an OPM. In 10 years.
Wow.
Man, it's happening in 10 years. I swear. When I was 22, I was approving an OPM. Then all in my journey, my mom said you need to study, and my dad said you need to work. I decided to do both. Then, for example, OPM was one of a course that I did, but also I did Stanford.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
almost finished the Wharton. There is a finance program in Wharton that's amazing. I'm almost finished now, the last model. But also I did Kellogg's. Then it's not common. not just in Brazil, but around the world, you find someone that's it's work hard as entrepreneur, but also decided to
Mhm.
study hard,
Yeah.
like I did. And that's what confused me. He told me, Guy, I think your journey and what I think you can share with entrepreneur, I think your book can help a lot of entrepreneurs. And then, yeah, that's and I decided to start my book. Be a writer is not easy because okay, you can write a book, it's amazing, can be the best book around of the world. But people, if people don't know that you wrote a book and you not share, I mean, stop it. And it's not you are not change the life that you want because the people never heard of about your book.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what the decision that I made almost 6 months. I start 6 months ago. I start the Bravo scaling. That's my. It's not a business. I swear that is my purpose as entrepreneur because in Brazil you have probably in United States and around the world you have a lot of you have a lot of person who say that they are entrepreneurs, but they don't have the skin in the game,
Mhm.
but they are perfect marketing people.
Yeah.
And now I decided to stop to say the guy that complain, oh, why this guy sell this course? Why the guy sell the course? But they don't have the experience that I have because there is a lot of entrepreneurs. We didn't have time to be specialized in
Mhm.
marketing or specialized in social medias. I didn't have time to do this. Then someone had the time to do this. They create, they brand, they are teaching for a lot of people. But they never achieve what I us achieved as entrepreneur,
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
but I stopped to complain. I say, Gui, complain. Oh, no, stop to complain. Then 6 months, I started to say, okay, I stopped complaining. I still have my business. I have CEOs, but part of my time, I'm decided to create my mentoring. I decided to
Amazing.
become a speaker. For example, two weekends ago, I was in GSA, Global Speaker Academy,
Wow.
in Cancun.
Oh,
And
wow.
also it's an event created from by entrepreneur organization.
Oh, yeah.
Then man, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, how can you imagine that I was OPM Harvard running business? But I think that is one of good things to decide to become entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Nothing is a limit for you, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you could, I know this is going to be super challenging, but if you could pull out your top three rules from your 101 pieces of advice that you think would most entrepreneurs would miss, that like the key three pieces of advice
oh my god,
for entrepreneurs.
for sure be humble, for
Yeah.
sure be humble, man. I know I can understand until now why the people can be humble. They decided to
Mm.
be the ego to prove,
Yeah.
and I think humble. It's the second one. It's faith, faith. Faith.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
faith.
Believe. Yeah.
Believe, yeah, because man, I already have a lot of people in my life say, yeah, first with my dad, because it's normal. A lot of people that don't understand this, but in the beginning, the people who most love you, it's of course the people that's most try to convince you to not to become entrepreneur. Yeah, that's normal. That's what I live in with my family, with my dad. But when you have faith and you're thinking, oh, I can do this, nothing can stop you. And I'm
Mm.
not talking about in religion. I
Yeah.
wrote this in my book because my book advisor in the beginning he told me, Gui, don't talk about faith, it's about
Yeah.
polemic. Imagine someone, but I said, man, but I couldn't be success. I couldn't be organized or open my company without faith. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about a power inside
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you can describe, that can make you achieve things that you never thought that it would be possible. Then the second is faith. Maybe the third one is courage. Because,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you have faith, you are humble, but man, you don't have courage to give the first step. Then I
Yeah.
think that's the third, maybe the three roles that I think it's
Yeah.
helping to.
That's all pretty much like personal, right? Like it's something that come within you. And also you mentioned 4 stages of business growth in your book. um,
Yeah.
can you take us through quickly?
Yeah. Because for me, I think the first stage is the foundation. You need your foundations. If you don't have foundation, you can release nothing. The second step is direction. Okay, you need to have direction for you think, okay, why you want to create a business. That's what the reason. The third one is the path. Okay, you have the foundation. Now you have the direction. Uh, for you wanna start your business, you have the path, and the fourth stage is okay. Start like now. Let's skin the game now. Because when I decided to create the road to the 100 principles, for me it was important to show to someone to decided to read the reader write the book. In different stage you need different principles. There is principle depending of the stage. You need to be more involved and execute more. That's the first stage.
That's awesome.
And Guy, you mentioned like briefly there about, you have not only executed, but you've also focused a lot on education. And you mentioned
Yeah.
you've been to, Stanford, Harvard, Wharton, some of the most prestigious institutions around the globe. How important has that continuous education been to your success?
Yeah, for me, some friend of mine, they already asked me, Guy, what do you really work? Because I think you just study and do a course. I say, yeah, man, I decided to be specialized in course. But for me, every moment or every course that I did helped me to solve some challenge in my life. Every time that I decided to read a book, every time that I decided doing a course or read or watching someone, always I ask me first what I want to solve now, what I need to solve now, what's challenging that I need to solve. Then I can keeping growing. I can look to myself and keep growing without course or without studying, because it's just because if you have a company, if you are investing in business, you need to every time to renew yourself. And for me, when you think about your continuous learning, I think it's the best chance that you keep in being better in business in your life, because you are keeping learning. Not just think about you. Yeah, it's important for your mind or your body, but also maybe it's the best strategy that you have to be better and to overrate the others players.
Yeah, yeah. So if you had the chance to go back when you were 22, when you started your first business, and give advice, or you wanna do it differently, what would you do differently?
The advice, I think, for sure I would say to me in the past, like I said it, I would say to me in my past, is believe in yourself, even with everyone not believing in you, like, because sometime in your life you're just looking to other people and ask why they don't believe in me, why they don't they don't believe. No, it's not about if they don't believe you or not, it's about if you believe in you or not. And uh maybe what I decided to change is, I would say, like, okay, believe yourself and please stop to listen uh people that don't believe in you. That's what I decided to make differently. But when I looked some question, I think I just the only change, or the only change that I would that maybe I decided to do in
Do
my
it, yeah,
past is just stop listening. But I love it, what I create, what I did in the
yep,
journey that I live in, and for sure, what I'm living now, I just now I just living what I'm my success now. Just live the success because all the mistakes and
yeah,
the decision that I made. Then I just stop it to listen people that don't want to looking. They are not happy to see
yeah.
me successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've spoken a lot about, your business and your career, but, success to you was a lot about family. So I want to understand what values or what traits are you trying to teach to your kids?
Oh, oh, good question, man. Loving. I have a daughter. She's 9 years old, and my wife, she's pregnant now. She's a
Oh,
boy. Yeah,
congratulations.
I'm so excited about this. But when you asking this, I of course I started to think about what my dad taught me, what my mom taught me. But I think what I try to teach to my childrens, it's more relation about not depend to anyone. To be dependent of something is not like try to create your own journey. Don't depend in me. Don't depend about my money. Don't depend. I know what I really want to give to my children is the knowledge that they need to not depend no one. Because if you have dependence, or if you are dependent for material things, if you're dependent about other people's, you don't have freedom. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think if my children they want to be entrepreneur, okay, become entrepreneur. But because also when you think about value of company, uh, when the company depend of suppliers, depend of clients, the value, the dependence decrease the value of the company. But I think also to be depend of someone decrease the value of the life also, because you don't have freedom to do whatever you want. Then I think yeah, no one never asked him this, and
Yep.
then thank you for asking this because I'm more awareness about what I
Now
could
you
learn.
start thinking. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Guy, you're still only like 38 years old, still young, quite young. So long, long way ahead, right? And what are your plans next 5 to 10 years? What's next for Guy?
Oh man, good question. Love this. Because I'm applying me and my partners, we are in renewal, like to planning
Yep.
create our strategy for the next 10 years. Then the question is perfect in this moment also. You know, I I don't want to, when you think about 10 companies, 11 companies, yeah, it's amazing. It's a good result, but I think of course, it's not enough when you think about legacy,
Yeah.
Really want to create a platform that I'm doing now to help others, entrepreneurs, find or I want to help him to find their
Yep.
freedom. I think what I really want to be involved in 10 years, I think you'll be probably I will still invest in different companies, but I want not invest in companies. I don't want to invest in companies alone. Like
Yep.
I love it to invest in companies with different entrepreneurs and help them make different companies to become successful. That the way that I'm looking, and I think in 10 years I want to not to create, not to leave this legacy just in Brazil. I want to leave the legacy around abroad. Also for me, I think it's important, and I wanted to be remembered not like be remembered not just entrepreneur, set entrepreneur, but I wanted to be someone look to me and look to them and see me as an educator, like that
Yep.
can help me educate others entrepreneur. For me, that's what's the fuel. That's what make me wake up every day, uh, and probably that's for my 10 years ahead. That's I'll be for sure be involved.
Amazing. Amazing. That's
And Guy, you've written that entrepreneurship is transforming ideas into impact, and that above all, building a legacy.
Yeah,
What do you want your legacy to be?
probably. I think education it's the only thing that can transform countries. There is we are living a lot of things. Brazil, it's not be easy. Also, political, economic is, but I think I really want to, you know, I wanted to help entrepreneurs, But more than help entrepreneurs, I wanted to create like education that can be accessed for everyone or anyone, you know? Because if you ask me, of course, it's, for example, I went to Harvard, I did OPM, we did OPM, we had the chance to do the OPM, but there's a lot of things that you learn in Harvard that you can easily teach to people that can be in Harvard, then I think I really want to take all of the knowledge that I can, that I had the opportunity and I create the opportunity to access, but I really want to create like a platform to kind of to give to share high level education to people that can access high level education, because I think the high level education or knowledge, that's the only thing that can change people lives and countries. But it's a little bit hard because it's not just about you give the access, it's also you need to find a way to motivate and give a reason for these people to get and to access this knowledge. It's not so easy,
Yeah,
but legacy don't to be easy, right?
that's it. And I suppose,
Don't
Guy,
need to.
given your success, your definition of success was largely about freedom and having time uh, to spend time with family and friends. Looking back on this journey that we've spoken about today, do you feel successful?
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah. And and it was amazing because that I answered quickly, but I answer quickly because every time you Dylan and Jen make a lot of a good question, and sometimes you just don't stop and reflect if you are successful or not. And when I combine all of this that I'm share with you, that the chance that I have to live my freedom or live the routine with my family, how cannot to be this cannot
Yeah,
to be a
absolutely.
success, right? But
Absolutely.
every time you are just, oh no, but it needs more, needs more, needs more.
Yeah.
No, I'm so excited with I did in my business, and now I just wanted to spend more of my time to help other entrepreneur find the some roads or the same way to be successful. Also.
Well, Guy, we could easily talk to you all day long. It's been a fantastic
Yeah,
conversation.
definitely.
But throughout our conversation, I've been trying to jot down what I think are the core traits which you embody that have been crucial to your successful life. And I'd like to share them with you. The first one is you're always very curious and open to opportunities.
Yeah,
So I think, that first foot in the door that you got in that logistics company, you were always just scanning for opportunities and you saw one through your dad's business to go into this logistics space. And I'm sure that's come up time and time again with all of these different industries you're in now. You always keep your eyes open and looking for those opportunities. And that's something we've seen across a lot of the guests that we've had on. The next is you're people driven. You mentioned in this discussion, you look for people who are better than you. And that's, again, such a core trait of having the humility to say, I don't know this space, so I need to find someone who's better than me, bring them in and utilize their knowledge and their expertise. And I think that's really fundamental for your success, given it's across so many industries. I don't think one person can be an expert
yeah,
at all those
perfect.
different industries. So being people driven is definitely a core part. And then the final one I want to touch on is you're a continuous learner. And I think that's potentially the biggest one because, all of these methodologies that you've learnt, you've been reading books, you've been going to courses, you've been part of organizations which are all centered around continuous learning, educating yourself, not just through even these institutions, but also through your experience as a business owner and operator. You're learning from so many different sources. And then I think more than that, now that you've become an educator, a teacher, I think that really forces you to think even harder and learn even harder because you need to make sure before you
Yeah,
can teach it, you have to really understand it yourself. And so I think,
Yeah.
all of these traits have definitely been fundamental to
Yeah.
your success.
And
amazing.
first thing you mentioned, your dad want you to become a basketball player. Maybe you didn't turn up to be a basketball player, but you're a great team player. So
Oh,
throughout
great.
this conversation, I think
my
one of
God.
the trait that we saw in you, you build that team, right? So the team to with the great players, I mean, knowing, right, you can captain the team, but you can't just win the games without having the right players. And that's your real talent that I see throughout this conversation. And really keen to read your book. I mean, we just did some research, but now your book,
Yeah,
101 Principles, it's
I
in English, right?
translate. Yeah, oh my God,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
Wow. Excellent. So
Great.
where can we find this book?
Yeah, Amazon. Yeah,
Amazon.
Amazon.
All right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
We'll
yeah,
drop the link down below in the show notes.
yeah,
Yeah.
please. Amazing. Yeah, I
Gay,
swear.
it's a fascinating conversation. We really, really enjoy having this
I
chat
love
with
it.
you. And thank you so much for your time. Really,
Thank you
really
so much,
enjoyed it.
man. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you. I don't know where you're living now.
In
In Sydney.
Sydney,
Sorry.
Sydney, Australia.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, man. I need to organize my time and be with you because you are amazing, great guys. Thank you so much for being here. Your summary, it's the summary that you. Oh my God, you summarize my life, and I love it to listen. And it's very, participate of here is energized. I'm feeling very energized after talk with you. Then thank you so much. Then if you come to Brazil, you are invited. Please come to Brazil and please send a message. It'll be a pleasure to be with you here. Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Thank you
much.
Guy.
so much, Guy. And with that, if you guys have learned something from today's episode, it would mean the world if you could like and subscribe. It helps us share the content with other listeners. And you can see all of our inspirational content over on our website, thequestforsuccesspodcast.com. And with that, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening.